All right, folks, welcome back to Train Sim Classic. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the very recently released, as of January 30th, 2025, today, Milwaukee Road's Pipestone Pass, Three Forks to Butte, Montana. Now, this comes from Milepost Simulations, developer of numerous great routes over the years, recently Rio Grande Southern, Mount Shasta, Arizona Divide, and many, many more. So he's got quite a few under his belt. Now, this is going to be roughly 70 miles across this pass. It's going to include the Milwaukee Road box cab, what they called motors, built 1915 to 16, which were EF1s, 2s, and 5s. And they come with two liveries, which sadly are unbranded. So the fellow that created this route was unable to get authorization to use the branding, sadly, for the Milwaukee Road. So as of now, they are unbranded. Hopefully someone makes a branding patch or he releases one kind of unofficially, which has been done in the past. I don't know if by him, but I know it's been done within Train Sim Classic. I would imagine we'd have the brands on here, hopefully. That crooked square and the Milwaukee branding on there would be very, very nice. But as of right now, it is unbranded, sadly. You're also going to get a Milwaukee Road and Northern Pacific GP9. Various rolling stock. A lot of it is, I'm going to say, freeware. As with a lot of this stuff, it's very old, very ancient, almost MSTS days. And a lot of it you can get absolutely free, probably with some of these liveries as well. But this route's complete with a lot of these routes with yards. You got shops at Three Forks, Piedmont, Janney, however the hell you say that, and Butte, of course, and ABS signals, and of course the catenary, which the power was drawn from for the motors. And you're going to get 8 scenarios for this, as well as free roam, and I believe quick drive is included as well. So for those unaware, the Milwaukee Road, just a little snippet. Operational 1847 to 1986. Headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, stretching from the Great Lakes to the Pacific Northwest. Now, Pipestone Pass, this route, is basically situated in the Rocky Mountains of Montana, crossing over the Continental Divide. Part of Milwaukee's Pacific Extension, as it was known, completed in 1909. Due to just the extreme cold back in the day, made it very difficult for steam engines to operate. Hard to get that pressure up, that PSI. So they said, hell, we'll try some electrics, and that they did. I mean, there were temps that reached, or fell, not reached, to like -40. So it made steam operation very, very difficult. Now, the motors that you see here are the Class EF1 for the Milwaukee Road. They ran the rails on 3,000 volt DC electrified line within Montana, Idaho, and Washington states, and were the Milwaukee Road's first electric locomotives built by a partnership essentially of Alco and GE, or General Electric. Now, the units were preferred for heavy and slow freight drags, running almost 60 years until the overwhelming cost and just general efficiency that diesel electrics had, and therefore shuttering the electrified system over time. Now, the units had a set of leading and trailing, I guess what you could call dead trucks, and 8 powered axles. Units were essentially built in pairs continuously, known as an AA set. And I believe it would have been 480084, which is kind of weird to say. I feel like it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is 480084. The units produce up to 6,800 horsepower with 84 units built, or 42 pairs anyway. The 30 EF units were geared for freight, and the remaining 12 were EP, designated to haul passenger, featuring different gearing for different speed. Now, these units were one of the pioneers that paved the way for multiple unit working, now thoroughly common, known as Locotrol back in the day, or the early years when it was used here. That's how they connected the engines or the motors themselves. Now, the units weren't fast. As built, the motors were geared for 35 mile an hour, but excelled at starting tractive effort and easy to maintain thanks to the Milwaukee's electrified maintenance division, the guys that worked on these things, the guys and gals back in the day in the 50s. And later on, they did regear these units for 45 miles an hour. Now, the numbers essentially and initially were 10-200 to 10-229. These things weighed 564,000 pounds. Now, the EF1s were considered 2 units. So when you see EF1, that is a pair. When you see EF2, that's 3 units. So it's a pair with an extra motor in the middle. And the EF5 was 4 units. So it was essentially 2 pairs. So right here we have the manual for Pipestone Pass, which you can go and take a look at. Of course, I'll link down below with everything else that I try to cover, which directs you to Steam and the route. And you can take a look at the manual without even having to purchase the route, but it tells you basically every single thing you need to know about the route, your signage, history, the rolling stock that comes within a map, which clearly displays Three Forks to Butte, which also kind of runs parallel along the river with Northern Pacific, which is pretty cool. So you should see some NPAI stuff across the river with the GP9s. You've also got your elevation profile, which Pipestone Pass, the tunnel anyway, sits at 6,347 feet. And is definitely more intense on the east side. So it's kind of funny the way this here is laid out. The left of the page is the east side, and the right of the page is the west side. So it's going to be tough going east. Got your 2 liveries here. How the units are set up with the EF1s, 2s, and 5s. Something that's pretty damn cool I spotted looking at the manual a second ago. Talks about your scenario line voltage. So the way this stuff was ran back in the day, these substations and the guys that controlled them would basically, because sometimes they just wouldn't have enough power, trains would be underpowered, so on and so forth. So they would set these substations up with the lines that they directed to be either more powerful or contain more power to use, or less powerful, such as going down the grade and it kind of recharging the system through the panto back up to the overhead line. So it's very interesting the way they kind of, give and take kind of went on with the power and the substations on the Milwaukee Road in the extensions that they made that were electrified. Anyway, this right here comes from the developer himself that says basically you can set this up to be any kind of voltage that you want on any scenarios. I don't know how they're set up by default, but it's neat, just a neat little extra thing that you can set up to where maybe say it's like in the winter and it's cold as hell and slippery and you don't have enough power because of the lines. Cold weather and especially hot weather plays a big role in how power is derived from overhead line and whatnot. So that would be interesting to see if what somebody makes of that. You got your Bobcat, what in the hell? Bobcat, box cab. Jesus Christ. Box cab controls here that basically tells you everything you need to know about that. You got your GP9 down here as well and its controls. You got your tonnage ratings, which is very, very helpful because this ain't easy. This is probably one of those times where I'd say this might warrant a pro line in on the route itself, but I don't think it has that. It is tough. The operation itself is not tough, but moving these trains over to pass is tough. I've had a couple hours that I've messed around with it so far, and it ain't easy. It's a bit of a challenge. So it's not a snooze fest like some things you get in and just throw that sumbitch and run 8 and you're good to go. It is not like that at all. You got to watch the power draw and certain grades you're at and things like that. So I think this could possibly warrant a pro line, unlike some DLCs that we've recently gotten, which certainly do not warrant a pro line moniker. Anyway, tells you all about the scenarios there. You got your signals, which is very helpful and appropriate to the era. I like these as well. So it's got all your signage, your flanger sign, your milepost, your speed signs. whistle posts, all which look, pretty spot on to the era, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, your credits. So here it says Root and GE Box Cab, or we'll call it a Bobcat, created by JL. So JL is Milepost Simulations. Now, if you noticed from the Bozeman Pass route that came out from High Iron Simulations, it had 3 forks and overhead line. And it was interesting because people were like, what is that all about? It kind of makes sense now because these two kind of tie together. And I wouldn't doubt for a second if someone kind of put these two routes together on the workshop like they used to do with some other routes back in the day, which would essentially link the entirety so you could, run one kind of era. It'd be kind of goofy, but whatever. One era, Northern Pacific, BN, and then on the other side, going more west, you've got old school Milwaukee, going out of 3 Forks. But that'd be interesting. So it says here, area work from 3 Forks provided by Michael Stefan. So that's the fella that made a bunch of the rolling stock that goes into a lot of this stuff. Almost, I'd say like 90% of all add-on packs, routes, loco packs, whatever that we get North American content. This guy, his stuff is in it, basically. So a lot of your rolling stock come from him. Wayne Campbell, triple OG route builder, one of the best in the biz as far as I'm concerned. Then Gary Dolezal and Rick Grout as well, which, are responsible for High Iron Simulations and a lot of stuff as well. So I'm assuming a lot of that is just simply from the eastern side of the route or 3 Forks. So let's get in the game and look at the rolling stock, and then we'll just kind of dance around the map a little bit. All right, folks. So first up, we'll just hop right into the, we'll call it a Bobcat. Can't not call it that now. The box cab, the EFs for the Milwaukee Road. This is in one of the liveries that you're going to get. And we'll just fired up this random scenario. It's a westbound train out of 3 Forks. I think, 3 Forks should be behind us, I believe. And we'll just run this thing for a little bit and see what it's all about, see how it sounds, feels, all that good stuff, and then we'll go and hop around the route itself a bit later. But it says, as soon as you get your train order, you'll be ready to set off. You'll be meeting train 264 at Sappington. So, wait, where the hell are we at? Yeah, it says just outside of 3 Forks. Okay, good deal. Again, with a lot of the old milepost stuff, you get these cool looking work orders. It just gives the game or your play just more of that old school vibe. This is what they look like back in the day. Handwritten notes, essentially. And it tells you what your train is, the date, 1962, what you'll be doing, all that good stuff. Go ahead and pop that down. I'm going to go into the Xbox controller motion here. Take a look at the EF unit. It does look pretty good. I will say right off the bat, I feel that the colors have enough pop. They seem pretty darn correct. They're not overly kind of worn down or weathered out, or they're not just too overly bright. I'd like the orange and black livery a bit more. I feel like it's a bit more appropriate and looks pretty legit. But overall, the model looks good. I mean, guys, it's Train Sim Classic, Milwaukee Road, electrics. I feel like this has been a long-ass time coming, and we finally have it, which is, I don't know. It almost feels surreal. I know in Open Rails, there's a electrified line bit for the Milwaukee that's actually pretty nice. It came out some years ago. Actually, I think it was some recent. I don't know too much about Open Rails. Never really dipped my toe into that pool too much. But we got it in Train Sim Classic now. But the thing looks pretty legit. The proportions look pretty good. The colors look pretty good. You've got the 4 individual headlight beams in there, which is legit, as well as the number boards. Got your horn up there and your bell back here. You got the appropriate danger high voltage signals, so you could, guys walk up on here and fix things and whatnot. The electric bits on top look okay. I mean, the texturing isn't the best in the world, but it's certainly not the worst either. I'd say it's, about standard on par for milepost stuff over the years. But the thing about Milepost, credit where credit is due, is he has done, as of late anyway, the last couple of years, some pretty rare stuff, what I consider rare in Train Sim Classic, and he did not reuse anything. So this was all, this wasn't a matter of like, let's just take High Iron Simulation as an example, where they make a route and then you get the same damn reused rolling stock every single time. This is not really the case. I mean, most of the time, JL or Milepost, he'll give you some new rolling stock, which is pretty damn cool. So it's nice to see. I mean, between this and the Rio Grande stuff that we got as of late, and other things, so I mean, we got friggin' electrics, man. I mean, who doesn't like electrics? They're just cool. It's a rare beast, especially in the States, especially with freight. Of course, everybody's going to be like, oh, we need a Little Joe and da-da-da. And there actually was a project someone was working on with the Little Joe, but I believe something happened and that never came to fruition. It was looking pretty good, though, model-wise. But we got these, the old faithful, the OG of the Milwaukee Road electrics. The Panto looks pretty good. Looks like it actually touches the line up there. I wonder if there's any sparking. I have not seen any as of yet, but yeah, I mean, it looks okay. The font looks all right with the designations or the numbers up there. Basically, each pair had control ends at either side, so there's a control in there, and then one here. Not all of them had the kind of what I'll call the McDonald's drive-through window. Some of these did. Maybe it was the older units. Yeah, so this one here has it as well. You can open those as well. We'll get inside shortly here, I promise. And then here's the back end as well. And they were all controlled by low control, so they basically were controlled remotely. It's like the origins of multiple unit working. Front looks okay. I think the other one has a different kind of front to it. Not all of these had the same pilot or plow. Some of them did kind of have just that front flat plate look instead of the kind of snow plow look that you see here. Looks okay though. Not the worst. I mean, if I had to kind of take one thing away from the entirety of the model, I'd say it's probably the undercarriage or the chassis, the trucks, your drivers, your wheels. They all just look a bit kind of thin. I feel like they could be, I don't know, like the model itself probably could have been thickened up a little bit. It just seems really thin. Like, it doesn't look like very heavy equipment under here. Like when you look at pictures of these things back in the day, it's just down below is just not the best looking part of this all to me, sadly. But again, it is something totally brand new into Train Sim Classic, which is pretty darn cool. We have one of those GP9s laying around. Yeah, we do. We got one right here. So this is obviously in the MILW livery as well. It's not making any sound. It is an AI unit. I'm going to assume this is the... I got that little lamp down there. What in the hell? Is that new? I've never seen that before on one of these old units. This might be the Michael Stefan GP9. Then again, I don't know, because he had those kind of photo textures on the trucks, and these look a bit different. So I don't know if this was borrowed from Dovetail or High Iron when they had somebody messing around with it or what. But it looks, yeah, looking at the lights, this is old. So this has got to be like the old freeware one from Michael Stefan or Great Northerner, probably touched up a bit. And it's got the very kind of blocky exhaust smoke. So yeah, this thing's pretty old. It does have a couple of little bits and bobs, like the number board on the side, which would have been appropriate. We're not really going to look at that because it's a GP9. This is the ribbed caboose that you get as well, which again, it's basically freeware reused. It's not the best looking caboose in the world. But yeah, let's be honest. We're not here for those, right? We're here for the box cab. So let's get in that son of a gun and have a peek here. All right, we are inside. Turn the cab light on. This is probably one of the biggest shortcomings of this thing as a whole is the interior. Just the texturing is not that great. It looks extremely ancient in here. It looks like something from many years ago, probably over a decade. There's just not a whole hell of a lot going on in here. Now, to be fair, and that being said, I don't know how the hell you'd get in here. I tried looking for photos of the interior of this thing, and there are almost slim to none. There is one of these on display. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but I don't know if you can get up in there. I did see somebody was able to get into the motor room back there and get a bit of that. But yeah, trying to find interior shots of this cab is like, I don't know, it's like the Holy Grail or something. It's pretty insane. Down here, you got a couple of switches. Got your wipers, I believe your sander, your cab light, headlights. Right there, this switch here is your pantograph. All this stuff is kind of difficult to grab. There's your power right there and your reverser. Your brake gauges, your speedometer. Attack, here's your amperes, line amps and field amps. So line amps, basically what you're drawing from overhead line, and then field amps is what this thing is drawing or putting down. And the kilovolts gauge is basically saying if that needle is to the right, you're getting power from up top. If it is not, you are not. So we'll grab this thing here. And as you can see, it shuts down. You don't really hear the compressor anymore or anything like that. We'll throw it back on. It's a bit finicky. Like the controls for this are a bit weird. There we go. And you know, it's kind of instant, so I'd say like physics-wise or scripting-wise, it's, you know, not, again, not the best. Simulation, we'll say simulation. It's just, it's, you know, it's weird. It's just kind of off and on. The pantograph should be raised. It still is. We'll turn the headlights on. They look okay. You know, pretty ancient. You do get a kind of, you know, color or flare on the ground anyway. The color themselves looks okay. Just the glass, the headlight itself is not the best looking thing in the world either. It just be how it be. Let's see. All right, y'all reverser. So this thing's funny as well, the sound it makes. Let me just turn the audio up here a bit. So throw it forward. It sounds like you're hearing a gunshot in like another room in like a bank vault. And again, the simulation or scripting or animation of this thing is weird, how it just kind of resets. It be funny like that. All right, so it is forward. Let's check our line here. We'll get this thing running. All right, we are gravy. Let's get that light off. There are no gauge lights, as far as I know anyway. You can't open the window. I don't know if it changes the audio occlusion. I don't believe it do. You can get the fireman's side over here and do the same. Open that all the way up. And I don't think this door opens on the front. At least I can't work out how to grab it or anything. But yeah, it's best we keep the light off in here. Oh, and you can kind of free cam. Oh, God. Dude just appeared out of nowhere as a ghost. And see the actual motors back here as well. The equipment is somewhat modeled, so that's cool. You know, it wasn't just like a weird looking kind of box thrown back here. It was somewhat modeled, so that's nice. Anyway, let's get this thing running. So I guess the way these things work is you better hope you're not starting out on a grade, because I cannot apply power with any kind of brake on. So it's kind of funny like that. Not like your modern locomotives in the way you can handle brakes and, you know, and putting traction down and things like that. So we'll release the train brake. There we go. And the locomotive brake. Or the independent. Sound isn't bad, to be honest. Definitely not the worst. We'll give a one notch-a-rooney. Or two, okay. So yeah, again with the scripting and the controls or simulation, I always forget the actual exact name of you know, keyboard to making things happen. But it's a bit quick. Like I feel like it could be a bit slower because I basically hit the A key and it went into 2 notches. But we are now rolling. You can see your line amperes and field amps going up. Kilovolts pretty much stay the same. Hop outside. The sound, I don't know. Again, like I've seen some footage of these things on the YouTubes, and again, it's old footage. It's really hard to tell. A lot of these electrics kind of sounded the same. I'm not really getting a lot of that sound. Of course, it should change, you know, the more power that we put down and draw from the overhead line. But it just seems, I don't know, just not very electrically humming or blower sound or anything like that. Let's give it another notch. So you've got, like a lot of electrics, you've got series and parallel. Your series, which we are currently in, I want to say there's like 14, 15, 16 series notches. That's for getting started, going uphill, slow, heavy kind of stuff. And then, of course, you go to your parallel setting at more of a higher speed, you know, drawing less amps. Go to another one. And you definitely want to keep it under about 300 amps. This thing will trip a circuit breaker, which is a safety system place, so these things would not, you know, nuke themselves. It should be relatively easy to reset. I think you just got to pull the power handle off and wait a second, and it should go back. It's kind of tricky as well looking at the actual gauges here in front of us instead of your F3 or F4 HUD. Looking at the F3 HUD, it's a bit easier because you can see the actual amperage. You know, and you definitely want to keep it under 300. On here, it's a bit more tricky looking at the gauges in the locomotive cab itself because it's just, you know, it's just a little bit more difficult seeing a, you know, a manual hand gauge rather than the digitized amperage, you know, like down on the HUD there. Let's go ahead and grab another notch. So she's pulling, and just like with diesel electrics, your modern locomotives as of today, when you're looking at those amps, you want them to start going down. You know, that's the ticket. Once the amps start going down a little bit, then give it another notch like we'll do here. Amps are climbing, almost 190, and now they're slowly receding back down. You can kind of hear, you know, an electrical hum now, traction hum. It's just a bit muted. Like for a second when I first started playing this, I thought I had my game sound turned way down for some reason, but I always leave it the same. It just sounds like a very mono kind of flat sound. I feel like the sounds themselves could have been louder, kind of like the SW1 that just came out from Repo. It's got that same vibe, like you know, the sounds could have just been louder overall. We'll check the rolling stock. You do get the kind of new standard with rolling stock sound. They do change between cars because some of the cars are different from different packs and things like that, and they do that reset weird sound thing that kind of started when Dovetail started updating the game that literally no one asked for, and it kind of borked sounds and headlights and flares and all kinds of other shit, sadly, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. But you do get rolling stock sounds. Not the best. Like I said, they do that reset, like each car that goes by, you know, they don't really like mesh into one another, and that's been an issue as of, gosh, probably the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. But they don't sound bad. It's definitely better than the old rolling stock sound. Anyway, let's get back in here and put some more power down. We'll throw it in 8. So we're currently relegated to a 20 going through the yard here, but there is a substantial grade up ahead and a speed increase, so we're just going to get this thing boogieing right now. There's 10. kind of keep going in and out, see if the sound changes at all. See what kind of out views we got here. Head out view there. And then on the fireman side or conductor side as well. Let's see if there is a... Yeah, so this is the caboose view that you get. I don't think you can do an interior view with this. Let's see. Try and use... Oh, yeah, you can. Cool. Yeah, so you can sit in here if you like. At the window. At your desk. Nice little view. In the front as well. Very cool, but god dang, the scenery... Jesus, that was a weird noise. The scenery around here is pretty darn good. Milepost Simulation always be bringing that heat with the scenery. Now, granted, a lot of it looks the same. It's got that kind of arid climate look, and while a lot of Montana can look like this most of the year, it can also, you know, be somewhat green and lush depending on rainfall and things like that. But you know, generally, as far as the way this region looks, I definitely feel like Milepost nailed it with the vegetation and just the overall look versus Pipestone Pass by High Iron Simulation, which came out, what, like a month, 2 months ago? I don't even remember. I have not opened it ever since. But this, you know, this vibes. This has a very nice look. I don't see any of those crazy Krusty the Clown head trees anywhere, the brush and everything. And yeah, while granted, pretty much Mount Shasta, Arizona Divide, Rio Grande Southern, all the milepost stuff kind of looks like this. But I did see, or what I thought I saw, were some new tree models. I could be totes my goats incorrecto. Here's one of our whistleboard signs right there. But yeah, I saw like a pine tree that might be new. We'll take a look at that when I see one. Anyway, let's check that Huron out. That's either a Wabco or an old Leslie single chime, obviously, and it does not sound bad. It's got... What the hell? Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, okay. So let's go into series. There we go. So that was a warning basically telling you that unless this thing is pulling, actively pulling, and you need it in the series mode, that it will damage the motors, possibly blow the thing up. So as of right now, we're not going uphill, so I needed to put it in parallel, but I totally forgot because I was just blabbing away. We'll put some more parallel up as well. Give her a couple more notches. 111 amps. We need to build some speed up because we got some climbage to go on up yonder. There we go. We'll put it in 10. You can hear a bit more of a whine, so there is a change, a difference in the traction hum, which is nice. It's not just like one sound all throughout. You know, it does sound like you're going faster. They're whining a bit more, kind of like I do often. Some would say that anywho, but back to the horn. I think it's a Leslie A200 or Wabco E2. It sounds pretty good. I don't hear any crazy loop in it or anything like that. The only thing that's kind of weird is the very end of it when you release the horn or release the horn pole or the space key. You can kind of hear it do this abrupt kind of pop or end. The bell? It's a bit quiet. I'd like if the bell was a bit louder. It is animated. Ding-donging back and forth. Pretty cool. See the hand pull inside going up and down as well, which is neat. Overall, I mean, the locomotive, you know, just for the sheer fact that it's an OG MILW electric is cool as hell that we have in Train Sim class. I mean, come on. The interior's not the best. The chassis, trucks, undercarriage, all that's not the best. The overall model looks okay. I think it looks fine. The lighting could be better. We do not have branding. You know, a couple of funky things going on. But still, with the mere fact that this is a rare bird, man. It's a rare species in Train Sim Classic. You know, it's still pretty damn cool. And we are getting different sounds as well. I know you probably can't hear them over my incessant blabbing. But that sounds pretty good. Parallel 10. I just wish it was louder, man. Like I wanna have to turn it down. It's so loud. You know what I mean? We'll do like a quick run by, huh? Yeah, I just feel like it's a bit too quiet. We'll go up this crossing here. That's weird. You could hear like each axle going tear 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 tear. Yeah, it's the sound thing that's been going on sadly with Train Sim Classic for the last couple of years. All right, we'll give it some more power while we can. There's FP. You've also got the power handle kind of glitching in and out there, which is not cool. So FP, I guess that's full. I want to say full power, but I think it's full parallel maybe. Give it one more, which is shunt, which just gives you the absolute most amount of power you can put down, essentially, which is what we got going on right now. 113 amps, almost 40 mile an hour. This thing's moving. It definitely be moving. Yeah, the traction motor bits are okay. I just wish they were louder. You basically don't hear any blower at all. I mean, they may not be fully ramped up currently, or who knows when the hell that would happen. The parameters needed, I don't know. But I don't hear like any fan, any air moving. You know what I mean? And we're just about maxed out speed-wise, this thing, or the gearing anyway. But it sounds okay. I mean, it's, you know, and it seems somewhat easy out here because it's a pretty flat area out here until we get, you know, up close to the pass. You can see how it's kind of just a flat shelf of mountains. And yes, this do be going over those mountains. And it's tough. I did operate it over the mountain pass. Hopefully you noted from the intro video, spiel, whatever. And that was a bit tough, but anyway, this thing's, it's pretty nice. Branding would help it a lot. Maybe like some better cab texturing or touch-ups. I don't know. Audio, God, I mean, if this thing had just louder audio, it would immensely be much cooler. But the EF Bobcat box cab, it's crazy seeing these things in Train Sim Classic, but here they is. And also, for those that may be out of the loop, I know I'm not very much in the loop, not these days anyway, but I've heard rumor that since Pipestone was announced in Milwaukee running, that the old boys at Searchlight Simulations are working on something to run on this very trackage. So yeah, I guess keep an eye out on their Facebook for that. I definitely am, because hot damn, these things and what they're cooking up together, seeing them all just gives me goosebumps, man. Seeing them all working together, it'd be pretty badass. Anyway, we're doing 46. We ran this thing a little bit, had a little look at it. Let's take a look around the actual route itself. All right, then, folks, we're going to start having a look around the map in down on the western end in Butte, Montana. Down here, this is a free roam, by the way. This is already set up within the game, so you could just fighting a burp there. Sorry, you could just hop in and do free roam, do whatever you want. You can see the Northern Pacific stuff is branded. I am missing the bridge. The abutments are there, but sometimes you guys, I'm sure you know, with when you load something in an editor, because I had the editor in, changing the skybox and all that to AP. Sometimes it will not load stuff in. A lot of times it happens with bridges, turntables, and things like that. So I'm assuming that's what's going on there. But that is the end of the line as far as out here. But some of the foliage on this side of the mountains is a little bit different than what you see on the other side. Prairie got a lot of wildflower. It just looks good. I mean, this is honestly some of the best damn looking grass and foliage that there is in Train Sim Classic for any North American stuff. It's old. It's a mixture of a lot of different things, but it looks pretty good. One of the kind of the big not so awesome things about the route, in my eyes anyway, is the track. The track and the look of the track and the ballast and the ties and everything just does not look the best. It looks like a very light rail, very thin. It doesn't really look like American rail. It doesn't look old and dusty and grimy. Hopefully someone will make some kind of, track enhancement to go along with this. I know an enhancement track pack was made by LP many moons ago with just absolute shit tons of, ballast and rail and things like that you can choose from. So this, as a whole, I don't like the look of the track overall in this route. If I'm honest, I did like the way the track looked in Bozeman Pass over this stuff, if I'm completely honest anyway. But this is kind of low density scenery down here because it's the end of the map. You're not really going to be down here. And I am lying. I'm on the totally opposite end from where I need to be. So that's like south there. And then this goes, continues on west. So we need to go this away. Got your highway there. So this is supposed to be set in the, I believe, the 50s and the 60s. Some of the vehicles still are kind of a bit suspect, like those Mack trucks. I know they did have Mack trucks back in the day. But they most likely would not look like that. A lot of the buildings look okay as well. Some of it seems a bit old and a bit plain, just missing some extra texturing and things like that. You've got your overhead line equipment, which looks very damn good. It looks really good. I'm pleasantly surprised. I know, a lot went into this route. Not only the route itself, but the overhead line equipment and then the box cabs. A lot of stuff is new. It wasn't just a rehashed or recycled or regurgitated thing like we see a lot of North American add-ons seemingly are, sadly. Got your mile markers on there, which is cool as well. But yeah, the overhead line equipment is cool. We did see a little kind of tiny tease of that in the high iron simulation. Bozeman Pass. Here's Butte Station here at a depot. Some of the cars here do look appropriate. Man, look at these like 50s cars up next to this thing right here. I don't know what the hell that is. A little Honda or something? Virginia. That thing is huge. That thing right there would have been appropriate for the era. For sure. For sure. You do have a couple of industries down here. And speed board there. Yeah, those dump trucks don't really match. Some of the crossings look pretty good. Look pretty level. Not too crazy. They're kind of blended in pretty well, so it's not too bad looking. The distant mountains look pretty nice as well. Well, they got you some poopers over here, some banyo. This looks a bit too modern for the route, if I'm honest. The restrooms. Some of the buildings are definitely reused, but some of the stuff, like the little depot back there, are new. It's kind of funny because blended together, they don't really fit well all that much. This is the yard down here at Butte with, we can go ahead and take a look at some of the rolling stock you get. A lot of this, of course, is just reused time after time. You got your 40-footers, steels. You got your old wooden 40-footers. You got some old insulated ones. Different branding, which is cool. The branding's cool. I do like the branding on these. I mean, this rolling stock is perfect for yard filler. It's just a lot of this kind of stuff like this when you get up close is when you just start seeing the glaring things. There's that old crazy goat or whatever. What are those things called? Can't remember what they're called. I'll call it a goat. These very ancient wood chip hoppers here we've seen for many, many moons. We got an EF set. sitting right there as well. Very nice. Got a stockyard over here. You do get stock cars as well for cattle, sheep, whatever the hell. Pigs. Got some Angus back here. These grain hoppers aren't. They're probably like the worst thing. I mean, the colors, and then they're just unbranded. They stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, everything else is okay. It's passable, and then you got the sounds, the rolling sounds, so it it works. But those hoppers are not my favorite. Not by a long shot. I hear an old GP9 up here running. That thing is definitely old as hell. Yeah, so that's definitely the old freeware one from, I think, Great Northerner, for sure. Got another set sitting right here. So here's the set that I actually like a bit more. I like the black and orange. I just feel like it just vibes a bit better. The tricolor is nice too. But I got another Jeep sitting over here. So this is just a free roam, obviously. A lot of stuff set up here. We'll go down to where we're at here. So that is a stockyard. Yes, that's where the cattle were, all the Angers. This is Butte Yard, team track. What else? Do we have anything else, like industry-wise out here? I don't think so. Depot siding, depot. We saw the depot. That's not labeled. I don't know what the hell that is. That's the portal going to Newcomb. So let's go ahead and keep on vibing down the line and taking a look. Yeah, I mean, it just, God almighty, it just looks good. This is just scenic as hell. Like when I was looking around Bozeman Pass, I did not get these feels from just the overall geography. It looks breathtaking. It is very, very nice. Now, a lot of the stuff like the extreme distance scenery and mountains, again, I think a lot of the updates to Train Sim Classic that Dovetail did that literally no one asked for kind of messed that shit up as well, sadly. I'm not crazy about the kind of pink look to the ballast in the ground as well. I feel like it sticks out a bit, and then you've got the tracks, which don't look the best to me personally either. But other than that, it looks damn good around here. Let's scooch on down the line. We've got these color signals here, which, again, they look a bit ancient. The colors don't really pop. They're kind of flat. I feel like signals and signal lighting have never been Milepost's kind of strong suit either. Sadly, it's just a flat, very difficult to see color. I mean, hell, like you about right here. Can you tell what that is? I can't. You get to about right there, and then you kind of can, mainly on the position of where the signal is. So that's kind of been a thing of Milepost. So that's really not anything new. It would be nice to see that updated at some point. Bring it into the year 2025. I don't know what this place is here. There's nothing to there's nothing labeled on here, so I don't know what's going on there. It is electrified, so you could bring some of the EFs down here, I'd imagine. But it looks like a pretty good sized place. It's a lot of prairie and valleys, guys. Mainly the bread and butter of this route is the pass itself, and it does not disappoint. It is very, very nice looking, and we'll get up there. I'm not going to try and make this too long, because it is a pretty lengthy route, 70 miles. But overall, I feel like it's just about on par with some of the stuff that Milepost has done recently. I still feel like his Mount Shasta route, to me, is probably one of the most beautiful routes that he has done. Easily top 5 for for my North American train sim experience. But you got little areas like this where this wash is, where you got a little bit more water that comes down in here. Just little details like that, guys. I love seeing stuff like that. It's a bit more wet, so you've got some more lush green, darker colors, couple of bigger bushes going on in there. Little details like that just make things seem a bit more realistic, which is always nice to see. Got the lines going all throughout. And the thing I was worried about with overhead line, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that have played Train Sim Classic over the years and messed with routes that have overhead line is they used to tank the shit out of some frame rates. They would give you bad frame rates, especially a lot of like the UK stuff or the German stuff with multiple line working. It's a frame killer. A lot of this is a single line. It's not been a frame killer at all. I've got it, locked at a rock hard 60 FPS, and I've not had any issues at all. Then again, the poly count on this route isn't super duper high, especially with the locomotives and things like that. That's cool. Station 1 mile sign sitting there. But it does look a bit different over here once we get over the divide up here, that you'll kind of notice the way just the general terrain and the geography looks in the plant life on the west side of the slope versus the east side of the slope. So that's nice to see. The track bed, this looks pretty damn good here. That is blended very nicely. It doesn't have any kind of sharp, off-putting looks to it. I mean, that's kind of weird, but that's just a little boop, bop, beep, boop. Yeah, that looks pretty darn clean, guys. That is a very nice. All right, let's keep on trucking this way. And the mountains. So one of the big things with the mountains on Pipestone Pass was they were just super bare. They didn't look right. They didn't look like the correct color. They had absolutely no trees. 2D trees are your friend. Make friend with 2D tree, because look how good that looks. That looks excellent. Not a single one is 3-dimension. It's they're 2D, but it looks good. It's far enough away that it just doesn't look like a bare-assed pile of crap. It looks good. I mean, this is how you do alpine scenery. I mean, this looks friggin' epic. Let's continue on. That's a good looking cutting as well. Very nice. Different colors going on there. Looks a little bit funny, but overall it's nice and cleanly placed. Scooch up this way. It looks like we got some kind of little, maybe mine. Something like that going on. That's what Butte was famous for. Or basically where it began. Butte was, it's one of Montana's largest cities, settled in 1860 something. But it was a mining camp and produced a lot of ore. I think copper was a big ore that was produced in the area. I'm assuming this is possibly one of the power stations or the substations for the route. So the overhead line equipment, it would come from one of many stations like this. You can see that kind of running off in the distance to another, power station or hydroelectric dam or something like that. And then it would come to the overhead line here. But even through here, dude, a lot of this is 2D trees as well. I mean, look how damn good that looks, man. That looks epic. You've got a mix of 2D and 3D, which is nice to see. Continuing eastbound here is one of the tunnel portals, which look pretty good. It looks like it was actually made and not a reused and resized asset like we saw on Pipestone Pass, which was a bit ridiculous. Same on the side as well. And the rock outcroppings, which look very nice. This, this looks to me like Montana. I mean, I don't know. When I look at this versus like Pipestone Pass, it's a clear choice. I mean, this just, God damn, look at that. Woo. Let's keep on going. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't give a damn about scenery, and that's fine. You just want to get in my train. That's cool. Whatever. I certainly care about scenery. I care about the train, the rolling stock, the sounds, the physics, everything. But scenery is certainly a big deal. Very much a big deal. Another nice looking portal here. Let's zoop over the top. Yeah, this is some fantastic looking scenery. That old steel beamed bridge, which looks nice as well. You have to pardon my dog there. I don't know if you can hear him making odd noises in the background. Yep. That's loud. That is loud. Got going on here. Little bungalow, another portal with the highway over the top. Is that the pass? That can't be the pass. Do that be the pass? Where is that? It says Janny or Janie. I don't know how the hell you say it. Donald. Donald, Maine. Yeah, I think the pass is actually a bit more east. Oh no, it is Pipestone Pass Tunnel Number 2. That's one of the tunnels. Shit, which way did we come from? No, I got turned around. Triple track up there. Trains would tie on and cut off helpers and things like that. A lot of the paired EF units were, pretty much primarily and permanently helper units. Another good looking cutting here with different types of rock and... Oh gosh, man. You have to excuse my dog. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, it looks pretty good through here. Another nice cutting right down the mountainside. This is cool because you've actually got some moss in there because it would, it'd probably stay, just this is what I'm always talking about, guys, little tiny details like this. It'd stay shaded and probably damp most, if not all of the day. That's where you're going to get a lot of that, kind of thick, nasty, dark green moss like that. And it looks pretty legit. Another cut right here, guys. This is how you do cuts. Hot damn. This looks pretty darn good. Wowzers. Just all kinds of different fill, terrain, texture, color, rocks, bushes, shrubs on the top, stuff like that. It looks legit. That's pretty damn good looking. Sweep around this peak here. That's a big, long sweep and turn there. Again, dude, he spent some time on these cuts. Those look nice. Another big passing siding there. Probably a little helper pocket there as well. Another very large truss bridge. That looks good, man. It's a good looking route. It is a good looking route. Another nice little cut there. Should be another tunnel right here. Got you a wall there, reinforced wall. Another little cut. And then you go over here, and this is kind of where the east slope starts. So it's a lot more gradual coming from behind where we came from. But then going down this way it's a little bit more steep for a lot longer. I want to say on average it's 1.8, but there are sections that'll go to 2%. Here's those pine trees. So I don't think these are new, but damn, they look good. These are some of the best looking pine trees. I know it, man. I can't believe it. We're looking at pine trees in Train Sim Classic, but scenery matters, guys. Scenery definitely matters. I don't think those are new, though. I recall seeing those in Arizona Divide. Just a nice gradual sweep going down the east slope. Got another passing there. This will curve to the left, and then there should be a big sweeping kind of horseshoe here, which is pretty cool. It's just begging for some sick photos. Very nice. And then down here, it kind of flattens out. Goes down into Piedmont. And then down into Three Forks. So it's just wide open prairie land. And you can see, or I hope you can see what I was talking about with the way just the general, the grasslands or the prairie looks through here. It looks a lot different than the other side of the range where we started. Just a different looking color palette, which is cool to see. We're in Vendome as per the sign. Little highway bridge there. Keep on scooching, marooching down this way. Long, straight, wide open running from the Three Forks side. See a little gulch there running through for that snow melt in the spring to run down. This is Piedmont here. Has this got a little... So some of these buildings are definitely milepost buildings like that one there. This is Piedmont. Okay. And this one here as well. They do look newer. They do look nicer. Got your yard there in Piedmont. Here is another substation, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I believe that's MP line there that crosses over Northern Pacific. I want to say it is. We keep on jamming this way, and we should hit the canyon down here. So that's what's neat about this route is you've got, not only the mountain pass, but you've got the canyon down here as well, which runs parallel to the Northern Pacific. And just look how nice and lush. Got the river running over there with all the trees and everything. This is some damn good looking scenery. Got a farm over there with the hay rolled up. Keep flying along. There's the river there again. Follows the river for quite some time. There's the other trackage there. We're getting closer. Crossing the river there once again. And the sound of the water just reminded me there's not a whole lot of ambient sound on this route. Again, like scenery, a lot of you guys probably don't give a damn. But, certain things like industries and birds chirping and stuff like that, I think are fairly important. It doesn't take the cake on what should be done, certainly, but it sounds weird when it's just complete silence. I mean, even here, like it gets windy as hell in Montana and some of the northern states like this. So hearing some kind of ambient wind and things like that would be cool. To be fair, though, I did hear an eagle screeching or cawing. I can't remember where that was. That was kind of cool. Where is this? A little passing sighting there. And down into the canyon with the river we go. So this route is neat in the fact that I guess you could call it a one-trick pony, but visually, geographically, it ain't like that at all. I mean, you got the mountain pass, which is totally different, and then you've got the canyon running here, which is pretty cool. So that rock face there looks pretty nice. River looks good. Got some grass down to the river bank itself, which is nice to see instead of just, bare ass ground texture into the water, which always looks a bit ridiculous in Train Sim Classic. Bit lush down in here. Farms taking advantage of all this nice water. Yeah, this looks good back here. That's the MP line over on the adjacent side of the river. Dang! This is really the first time I'm taking a look at this side of the route. I kind of centered on the other side going west out of Piedmont when I was playing around with the locomotive. Damn, that's all right, man. This looks good. This looking good. Ambient water sound is nice. Still see the MP tracks over there in the distance. Couple of bare peaks. Got a little creek running that way. Very cool. Very cool. Just wide open grasslands. Perfect, fertile farming land here. And then now that's MP on that side, crossed over. So you got a couple of diamonds, at least two, on the main line anyway. And you can see the attention to detail was done as far as the ballast, the track ballast. Different railroads would use different color because they'd use stone out of different mines. So it depended on where they got their fill and stuff like that, which is pretty damn cool. Little attention to detail, so that's nice to see. Got two dikes going over the water, and that looks good, man. My gosh, the rocks, the bushes. That looks damn nice. Okay. Okie dokie. Keep on trucking eastward. Side by side, you can do some train races, man. Do some MP trains and MILW trains side by side. A lot more farms out this way. A lot more flat, wide open. Got old grain silo here. Some cattle over here as well, so you could do some stock pickups, you know, as well as some grain operations. This building looks new as well. That may be a new elevator. It looks like it's certainly a milepost elevator. It's got a certain kind of look to it. A lot of milepost buildings and assets and things like that. Like this store here, that's definitely milepost. Quality store. This stuff here, like what I'm talking about with the assets, this is old like Dovetail stuff or Kuju. These old trailers and houses and whatnot over there. All right, keep on going. Let's see. Are there different signalages? Damn straight do be. So how about that? MP signals, MILW signals, and they are different. Very cool. Very cool. He could have easily just thrown the same signals down. Tracks kind of meander apart. You can do some wide ass open high speed running here, man. And get down into Tres Forcos. Pretty good sized town. Made famous by Meriwether Lewis of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Basically the headwaters for the Missouri River. And each river was named for some big hotshot politico. I can't remember the actual names back in the day, but it's basically where the Three Forks got its name, was the three forks or rivers coming together for the mighty Missouri River, which Lewis and Clark, of course, traveled down exploring the west. So that's what made Three Forks popular. So this side, I guess, it obviously has a different look, right, guys? It looks a bit more modern, a bit more into the new century. I believe this is what it was referring to with high iron. So what's funny is, like, while the town and the layout does look pretty damn good, I feel like the vegetation, which is different, just makes it look so much better than it would have by default from the Bozeman Pass side of things. More elevators there. Little depot, bunkhouse. Because on the Bozeman Pass route, it would have ended basically going up that way, both sides. Here's the depot here. Tres Forcos. Burrow is a little bit modern with his Starbucks cup. Let's see, how far can you go? Big farmhouse there, nice. These silos over here, very cool. Yeah, so this is the MILW side. So this was in Bozeman Pass, I think. Yeah, it was. So up here, it's just not really modeled. But in Bozeman Pass, it was. It went to, let's say it was like a cement plant or something up that way. But damn, guys, I mean, visually, Pipestone Pass looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. Visually, it looks great. You know, operationally, not a whole hell of a lot to do. Not that it ever claimed that there would be. A lot of it's going to be A to B runs, some industry here and there. I'd say that the kind of biggest thing with this add-on is not only does the scenery look incredible, like a lot of the milepost stuff, but you get a Milwaukee Road early box cab. And while, again, it may be kind of mid or slightly upper mid, the operation of it and getting a train up and down the grades is not easy. It's a bit of a challenge. So you can't really set it and forget it, because I tried doing that, taking pictures and stuff, and, you know, kept tripping the circuit breaker. So it's not super duper easy. This is the standard cost of a lot of assets, or not assets, but DLC for Train Sim Classic, $39.99. But it looks pretty damn good. I would 100% recommend this on sale. And then, of course, whether or not you're into the MILW or this side of the states anyway, you know, and using Milwaukee EF box cab for sure. And then if we get the Searchlight stuff that's supposed to be coming, it would just, this would be its home 100%. Then absolutely, hell yes, get this route. But Pipestone Pass, guys, just wanted to take felt like it was more of a condensed look. There's not a whole lot going on the map, to be fair, but as usual, I hope you found the video somewhat informative, and I believe that'll do it. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.